Well, hey guys, I'm here for a couple of days in Los Angeles and I thought it would be fun to head on into their Target and check out the skincare. But before we do that, give this video a thumbs up if you like skincare content from a dermatologist, and make sure you're subscribed and you have your bell notifications on so you know when these Target videos go live. No carts on the escalator. Busted. You guys, it is a two-story Target. Yes, and last time I was here, I do remember they're rather fond of keeping things behind locked doors. What in the Sally Hansen is the nail mask spa collection? Peel off nail mask? Seems like the opposite of what would be good for the health of your nail plate. In terms of ingredients that are helpful for nails, lactic acid, like amlactin, or urea, those can help. But this, I'm not seeing anything in this that would be beneficial. Gold can be irritating. Sometimes gold has nickel in it, can definitely cause problems for those who are sensitive to nickel. Yeah, I would not buy that. $9.99. Illuminating color corrector, repair and rescue. Is this for the nails? Yeah, for nails. Nail brightening. Contains iridescent pearl and brightener. Acrylates in nail products, common allergen, as is tosylomide. Not bad, but if you're going to develop a problem to something in nail stuff, those are common allergens. I recently tried out one of these CND nail polish. It was okay. What's this solar oil? Sounds like something with the sun. Side note, you can get, if you're on a oral tetracycline antibiotic, doxycycline, minocycline, rarely it can cause your nails to fall off when you are exposed to the sun. It's called photoonycolysis. Scented emollients. Brittle nails, by the way, sign of thyroid problems. Hyper and hypo can have brittle nails. Check out my video on nail signs of thyroid disease. Tolnafetate. This is not like the best antifungal for dermatophytes that attack the nail and the feet. For jock itch, use daily. This is odd. It says help. It's meant for the hands and feet, but then they give you instructions for jock itch. Okay. One of the reasons for jock itch is if you actually have athlete's foot, aka foot fungus, and putting your underwear on pulls some of the fungal spores up to the jock area, to the crotch area, and that can contribute to later on developing jock itch or tinea cruris. So make sure you put your socks on before your underwear. There's a very rude customer screaming at the salesperson. Just thought I would point that out. Alright, it's Psoriasis Awareness Month. One thing you need to be aware of if you have psoriasis is that anything that causes trauma to the skin, rubbing, friction, scratching, or a sunburn can elicit more psoriasis. It's called the Kebner phenomenon. So I do not suggest dry brushing. I don't suggest dry brushing for anyone, but if you've got psoriasis, skip that. Same thing with these scalp scrubbers. Can bring out more scalp psoriasis. I have not seen these Chapstick Total Hydration with sea minerals. Sea minerals, I'm starting to see. I've been seeing it for a while. Ever since on TikTok it was popular to like do something with salt water. Sea minerals have been everywhere. Anyways, mango seed butter, shea butter. Those are nice for reducing water loss. Fragrance and flavorants in lip balms can lead to cheilitis. As far as sea minerals, sure. Don't like hang your hat on them changing your life. Looks like they've got some tinted ones too. Sheer Glow. Oh wow, I didn't realize Target had Indeed Labs. These are really good products. This Hydroluron Moisture Jelly, definitely recommend it. They used to all be $24.99, but it looks like there's some variation in the prices here. The Snoxin, it has some proprietary peptide that may help relax wrinkles, in theory. I can't remember what form of vitamin C their vitamin C brightening drops have. See, this is a problem with the cage life. Anyways. I do not recommend lash serums. They cause irritation around the lid line. And some of them have peptides in them that are very similar to the active ingredient in Latisse. And that comes with side effects of discoloration, the skin around the eyes, even rare reports of redistribution of fat around the eyes. Por ejemplo, Rodan and Fields was faced with a lawsuit about their lash serum. This looks new. I've never seen it. $16.99. Solar Sun Care Mineral Defense Sport SPF 50. This looks like a mineral sunscreen. So I always get comments about what percentage zinc oxide in sunscreens you should look for. Don't worry about that. You can't determine the efficacy of a sunscreen based on the percentage of the active ingredients. That is a heavy myth that I see perpetuated a lot. I recently talked with a cosmetic chemist, actually, who formulates sunscreens, and he confirmed, yes, in fact, you cannot determine efficacy of a sunscreen based on percentage of zinc oxide. And actually, in many cases, lower percentages of zinc oxide ultimately end up being sometimes better than higher, just because of the way the product is formulated overall. Zinc oxide, getting it to disperse into the product so that it provides even coverage, can be a challenge at these higher percentages, and you can get clumping. And the clumping is microscopic, so you won't see it yourself. But then the product ultimately would fail SPF testing, which presumably this did not. It's broad spectrum, meaning it should protect against UVA and UVB. It says unscented, but unscented sometimes can have masking fragrance, which I'm not seeing here. It does have coconut oil. A lot of people say that that aggravates their skin, but personally, I don't have any issue with coconut oil for me. Exoderm. This is a weak steroid cream. It has 1% hydrocortisone. This is good for bug bites, but if you have eczema, it's not gonna touch the eczema. It can help with the itch a little bit, though. Help take the itch away. And it looks like Aquaphor has an ointment with 1% hydrocortisone. One thing about topical steroids is that oftentimes the ointment is more potent than the cream because of better more enhanced penetration. So it wouldn't surprise me if you have eczema or some kind of itch and you found that this gave you better results in terms of itch relief compared to Exoderm, although, yeah, Exoderm's a cream. But you've got to be careful with over-the-counter. You have to be careful with topical steroids. There's a lot of fear-mongering around them, a lot of misinformation that gets perpetuated online about topical steroids, specifically about topical steroid withdrawal. I see a lot of misinformation about that online. Anyways, that's a tale for another day, but you do need to be careful. Don't just self-treat things with steroid creams, because in some cases it could actually be a fungal infection, and using a steroid cream in the end will make it much worse because the steroid cream will kind of mask the inflammatory response against the fungus, allowing the fungus to take over. It's called tinea incognito. So yeah, you want to be careful and not just treat things that randomly pop up with hydrocortisone cream. It can cause problems. Plus, a long-term use can cause acne-like breakouts, persistent redness, thinning of the skin, and stretch marks, especially if you use it in areas where you have skin-on-skin occlusion, like under the arms, in the groin area. Speaking of jock itch, you definitely would not want to use this in the groin area if you have jock itch, that's for sure. Yeah, you got to be careful with them, but at the end of the day, hydrocortisone, it's a very weak steroid, so for people with eczema, it really is very, especially if the eczema is bad, this isn't going to do much. Now this is new from Gold Bond, their Age Renew Crepe Corrector. They used to have something else targeting crepey skin. Anyways, I've got to tell you guys, if you don't watch most of my videos, sucks to be you, just kidding. A while ago I was singing the praises of the Gold Bond Overnight Cream with melatonin in it. I love that. It does have lavender in it, but anyways, I really liked that, so I'd be interested to try this. It has urea, which is good for softening dry skin. It also has watermelon fruit extract. I'm not sure what that's going to help with, but Whey protein? Oh, that's not vegan. Why is there whey protein in here? Just trying to get anabolic moisturizer? I guess so. Targeting crepiness, but trust me, topical whey, it's not gonna thicken, it's not gonna improve crepey skin. I don't think that's why it's in there, just to be clear, but it's just interesting. Glycerin, dimethicone, petrolatum. This actually looks pretty good. Let me know if you've tried it. Antiperspirants. These can be irritating, as I've said before. One way to minimize the irritation is to put them on at night and the following morning just wipe the skin clean. The way these work is the aluminum causes the sweat to precipitate in the sweat gland. The sweat gland involutes. Ultimately, you have less overall sweat output. You also can use these on the palms and soles, although penetration of the aluminum is not as good there, but it's still an option. And of course, there are prescription antiperspirants, and you also can get there's a product sold online called Sweat Block. It's like these antiperspirant wipes. Those work really well. If you have a sweaty face or scalp, however, antiperspirants can be pretty irritating on the face. So that's an option for excessive sweating. You also have oral anticholinergics, glycopyrrolate and oxybutynin. They do come with a risk of side effects of dry mouth, dry eyes, blurry vision, urinary retention, constipation. But we dose them low to minimize those risks. Then you also have iontophoresis for the palms and soles. It's this bath that you put your hands in, an electrical current goes through and kind of stuns the sweat glands. Only is good though for palms and soles. You can't really submerge your armpit or head in there. Then there's microwave thermolysis, otherwise known as mirror dry. Get rid of the sweat gland in the underarms. And you also have Qbrexza wipes, and you have, we already talked about iontophoresis. Oh, you got neuromodulators, Botox, Xeomin, and Dysport, and you have, as another last ditch option, surgical interventions, which are more extreme, quote unquote. I say quote unquote because it's not as though they're unsafe, but they're more invasive. Definitely check out my video on excessive sweating. I go over all these treatments in detail there, but all that being said, you don't want to completely eradicate. You don't want to completely eradicate sweating because it's how your body cools itself. And there are conditions where you don't produce adequate sweat. You can overheat easily. Yeah, those people overheat really easily. Like they can't do like team sports. They'll overheat. I'm always giving you guys tips in the razor section. Like I've told you before, how if you're allergic to nickel, your razor may be a culprit in underarm irritation and hyperpigmentation. But another thing that can happen to women on their legs from shaving is called a dermatofibroma. It's this little non-cancerous bump that is often triggered by shaving, like a nick from shaving or a bug bite. And it's actually a pretty thick growth down deep in the skin. Very hard to remove. Like you actually have to have an excision, have it cut out. It leaves a big scar. Doesn't heal very well. Let me know if you have one of those. I've got a whole video going into detail about them. But yeah, I told myself the other day, next time you're doing a shop with me video, mention dermatofibroma when you're over by the razors. Don't go waxing your face if you're using retinoids. It'll cause sores because the stratum corneum is thin. Oh boy, what do we have over here? Is this a concealer? Is this one of those things that you use? No, it's a concealer. Iron oxides. This would be good if you have hyperpigmentation. You wear your sunscreen, then you put this on over the hyperpigmentation like this individual is doing, and the iron oxides may offer some additional protection against the pro-pigmenting wavelengths of visible light that lead to more stubborn, long-lasting hyperpigmentation. What is the dark circle defense? See, I don't think my Target has these Lumen products, or they didn't the last time I was in there. Gel. This is a dark under eye circle thing, a scented. This is not going to do anything for dark circles. Licorice root, that actually can help with hyperpigmentation, but most dark circles are related to either hereditary differences in your anatomic eyeball socket. It's been a long day. Or age-related change around the eyes, including bone loss, coupled with redistribution of fat, thinning of the skin. That can lead to dark under eye circles. What's in this face moisturizer? Did we just talk about that? No, we're talking about some gel. This is a scented gel moisturizer. What's in there? Broad spectrum moisturizer, SPF 30, zinc oxide 20%. Again, the percentage of zinc does not matter. Let me know if you've tried this. Astaxanthin is an antioxidant. This is another thing I wanted to tell you guys. It doesn't really have anything to do with skincare, but I've talked about on here before how you've got to be careful with the hair, skin, and nail vitamins. The biotin in them, biotin, it hasn't really been shown to do anything for hair growth unless you're biotin deficient, which is very, very rare. But it can interfere with the accuracy of certain blood tests. So you got to be careful. But there's this new trend where a lot of athletes are promoting these IV hydration things, high dose IV vitamins, not necessary, not evidence-based for anything. You can potentially be getting too high of levels of these B vitamins. There's a whole article I recently read about it. Yeah, you have to wonder, is that going to be the best thing for our kidneys to be just unnecessarily doing IV fluids? And I can see, how you might be tempted after a night of heavy alcohol consumption, but some of these athletes are just talking about doing it all the time, and I don't think that is good. Got Moleskine here. I recently talked about that in my video on blisters. If you've got blisters on the soles of the feet, high pressure areas, get some Moleskine. You can make a little donut over the blister and then cover it with a bandage. It'll help cushion it. Well guys, Target did not disappoint. There was some fun stuff in there. My battery overheated and died, so hopefully I got enough footage and talking points for you guys to learn a little something. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.